about prisons and the downsides that are rarely communicated to the public. According to a New York Times online article, it costs approximately $143 a day to hold a single prisoner in the Cook County Jail. This jail holds over 100,000 prisoners, ultimately costing society $14,300,000 a day for a single prison, and it's not even a major jail. There are approximately 4,500 jails in the U.S. alone, which is 2 times as much as any other country. So you can imagine how much of America's money is spent on that, on people that society doesn't care about. This is one of the many direct reasons behind why the U.S. is falling further and further into debt. Prisons provide protection and security from criminals by isolating them from society. However, the downsides of prisons are rarely communicated to the public. These downsides consist of major financial costs, growth and continuance of gangs, and lastly, no further education of fundamental skills to better the prisoners. If these legal issues with prisons were communicated and exposed, government and society could resolve the downside of prisons with a more substantial system for criminals. First main point I'm talking about is cost. I already touched upon this about how much it costs to store and hold a prisoner and how much it costs per daily for an entire jail. Aside from the cost of the prisoner, it paid 24/7 employees. First, prison guards would make about like 50,000, and there's multiple of them, and wardens who make up to 100. Cost for food for prisoners and hospitality, and this is a graph of the highest incarceration rate of any country in the world. And as you can see, is the U.S. is towering over even its second place, who is the Czech Republic. The U.S. incarcerates about 730 out of every 100,000 citizens. The next is gangs. They form gangs within the walls, and major negative effect is creating deaths and violence in and out of the jail. They're paying money for dangerous people to associate with dangerous people, which can lead to nothing good. And gangs and connections that last outside of the prison, causing hate crimes, racial battles, and more when they're out. And even though they're in jail, weapon and drug distribution goes in and out every day. Obviously, none of the prisoners are holding guns or anything, but drugs and knives and going through in and out through guests and stuff. And on top of all this, it's publicized through the media, through popular shows like Gangland and documentaries on Netflix, yet still nothing is done. And even world heavyweight champ Mike Tyson in a documentary said when he left jail, he was meaner and more ferocious and wanted to do things more than ever. He's not even a killer, so you can imagine other things. And there are also popular TV sitcoms like Prison Break that show all this. Whether it be fictional or not, it still portrays bad outcomes. Next point is teachings. They don't teach necessary skills once they're released. They remain uneducated and the same once they came in, and nothing is done to do that. They're isolated in their rooms day in and day out, which leads them to be even worse. They don't keep them up to date in current events to show them how they can succeed and change in the real world. Most prisons only provide gyms, utilities, which is the only thing that they're allowed to do, and once they go out, all they are is jacked. They leave them just more uneducated and dangerous than ever. Communicating the major cost of these houses, communicating the major cost to house prisoners would ultimately bring new solutions to make costs better on the economy, and acknowledging the continuance of gangs and the violence they bring in prisoners would help communicate gang awareness to the society, because people are oblivious. Finally, communicating current and fundamental skills and common jobs to prisoners would help recommend them to society. And I think everybody should care, because if they're spending $14 million on a single Cook County jail just to house these prisoners, they should be able to spend 10 times as much on people that are having trouble outside of jail and doing good things every day.